Okay, sorry about that. Instagram was tripping. I don't know what's going on, but welcome to another episode of What Now? It is an hour later than I usually do it because my guest today will be tuning in all the way from the other side of the world, which is Asia. He will be tuning in from the Philippines. And that's why we decided to do this an hour later because I wouldn't want him to be up at 3 a.m., but he will be up at 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. right now over there. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy in the midst of this pandemic. And I hope I get to inspire you some more with my guests today. I'm not sure if this is actually a good time because I think people expect me to be on at 3 p.m. East Coast, noon West Coast, and 9 p.m. Central European time. It is an hour later. It's 10 o'clock. Also this month we will be dealing with the daylight savings situation where I know there will be 2 weeks of a discrepancy between the usual time differences. So I got to figure out to promote that properly. Yes, Joey, thank you for tuning in. I hope you're well. We're waiting on my guest, Frida Robots. I didn't mention his name yet. Amazing, talented producer, beat maker. And he is from Los Angeles, but currently residing and located in the Philippines. So that is why it's a weird off time today. What's up, Sean? Hope everything is well with you and that you're healthy and safe. Yeah, we're gearing up towards crazy times in the US, the elections. My country is still completely red flagged in Europe because we're the Italy of the second lockdown over here, of the second wave of Corona. And what's up, Blackzilla? Thank you for joining. I actually have one of your friends coming on soon. UK represent. It's an hour backwards in the UK. So you know what? This flyer is too small to put everybody's time zone on there, but I do appreciate all the people tuning in from wherever as we are waiting on Frida Robots. And if you don't know him, he has worked with everybody. He has a crazy range of work. He can't be put in one genre. I had the pleasure of knowing him for, I don't even know when I met him, maybe 10 years, 12 years. I can't remember when I exactly met him. I had interviewed him before when he was out here. He's been traveling. He's known to tour everywhere. And so it must be crazy for him to sit still in one place. I know his internet out there in the Philippines is a little wobbly. So we'll see if he is able to join. What's up, Hype? Major shout out to my partner in crime, Hype. Thank you for joining. Mr. Rob Manga, I think this is a time where everybody is able to join because I see a lot more people coming in than usual. As most of my friends and acquaintances know, I'm not good at monologues. So as we wait till Frida Robots gets in here, feel free to ask me any questions, update me on your situation. How are things? Mr. Black, I'll be in London next week, but I'm actually going to be quarantined because of the UK government, so I can't be moving around at all. Let's see. Come on now. Frida Robots. Do I have anything more to say about this person? Yeah, so he's worked on this side a lot as well. He's done collaborations with Opio from Hieroglyphics, Souls of Mischief. He's worked with Jack White Band. He's worked with, he's been on tour and opened for Flying Lotus. He's done stuff with Lefto, on this side. And he's been traveling a lot. So I'm very curious to see how he's holding up, locked down in the Philippines, as he is coming from LA, and one of the people that has made a very big influence on the rest of the world, touring globally, building up an audience. Now, I hope that he did not mistake himself in the time, because he did hit me up earlier this morning talking about, is it today or is it, because for him, because he's already in the next day. So for him, it's Thursday. For us, it's Wednesday. And then me having to deal with LA times as well. I am pretty much a global citizen. Next week, since I'm doing my monologue, let me just promote my little show a little bit, my series. Next week I got Touré, so that's definitely interesting. I just locked in Charlie Tuna as well. For the week after, I got Cat Core from the famous Third World Band from Jamaica. He will be talking to me not next week. Yeah, that is the week after. Then I am actually locking in Bahamadia. So definitely stay tuned. If you do have people that I should be talking to, please send me the information or the suggestions. It's appreciated, and it doesn't have to be anybody particularly known or in hip-hop or whatever. I've done any creative person that's interesting and has a story and is inspiring. Okay, I'm down to one viewer, so he better hurry up. Let me send him a message because I'm not sure if he has a wobbly internet connection or not. I don't see him in here, so let me see where he's at. Okay, hey Tandre, welcome. Thanks for joining. How are you? Long time no speak. Hope all is well with you and your family and that you're safe and healthy. Okay, he's texting, but he got to come in. So his internet is working, I would assume so. Yeah, I don't know this time difference with that side, but I think it is 6 hours. Oh, there you go. So, okay, let's get him in here. 5 minutes seems like a full-on hour if you got to do a monologue. Hey!
Yo!
What's going on?
Wow, it's been a while.
What's up with your hair? I don't think I've ever seen you with your hair like that. The pandemic hair.
Yeah, this is pandemic hair. This is
How are you?
Things have been good. I mean, I'm out here, so
right.
Everything's good in Amsterdam.
Everything is crazy out here. Like I was just saying in my little intro, in my monologue, it's like we are the Italy of the second lockdown, of the second wave. We are full on red flagged everywhere. People are just, crazy, and the virus is running rampant out here. I can't technically leave the city. We're not supposed to, but I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm like so kind of disconnected in a way. I'm not like really knowing what's going on, but
yeah, it's the same everywhere. You don't need to know the news to know that it's all shitty.
Yeah, pretty much. Kind of.
It's good talking to you, though. I think Philippines is doing you well, huh?
Yeah, it's different. You know what I mean? It's definitely a huge life change. I mean, we're all kind of going through that big, huge life change right now, but this was one that was semi-involuntary.
Right.
But kind of voluntary in a way. I don't know. The timing was right in a weird way.
Well, the reason why, because I hit you up a couple months ago already to be a guest, because one of the things that you're known for and that I know you to be like is traveling everywhere. I mean, I travel, but you're like all over the place, playing everywhere and doing gigs and meeting up and doing radio, whatever. So for you, I don't think you've ever, since I've known you, you've sat down this long in one place.
Yeah, I used to see you like twice a year, pretty much.
I know.
Yeah, and just I mean, that was a big part of my music career, was touring a lot. And it's strange to be in one place for this long, actually. But I kind of set it up that way in a weird way, because I was actually on tour 3 years ago. It was like 3 years ago, and I ended up coming here like on a whim. It was like a free gig, and it's like, I just want to check the place out. And on a whim, just ended up like going in on some land here, and with a whole plan to build a house for.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. And it happened. Like, I just came here. It was projected to happen like early 2020, and we've pretty much finished. With that?
Did you build a house there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm currently in my house right now.
That's awesome. Well, how long did it take for them to build it?
From conception to about 2 years.
Oh
It
wow.
was kind of wild, but there's a lot that goes into it, especially that I'm not like really in the country as much. I was just back and forth, but between my partners, we were able to get it done, like literally right when the pandemic hit. Like, it was
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, and I
you
couldn't
wouldn't want to
really
be
leave
stuck in
the
that.
country. Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a pain in the ass to try and leave and get to Manila. So I'm like, you know what? I built this house. It was kind of in the plans for me to just know what it's like to live on the island,
Yeah,
and this was the perfect opportunity. Unfortunately, it's during this time, but it's been good. It's been a different type of just like a head change. It's
yeah,
just adapting to the complete and total simple life. And I mean, it's a huge bum out that my friends and family aren't here from, like, from back home,
yeah,
I can't see, like, but then again, no one can really see each other right now.
yeah.
Everything's kind of like done on Zoom meetings and stuff like this. But yeah, I mean, it's a strange
It's
change.
unusual. Man. Well, I
Yeah.
have to say, how I know you never was the person to live any different other than simple. You were never the guy that was going all out or, doing you were always crashing at people's place and, you were just like the wanderer. So I don't think, obviously the sitting still in one place and the simple life in means of not having to tour and not having to deal with that much fast life. But you as a person, I feel like you've always lived the simple life.
Yeah, I've been able to adapt to pretty much any situation. Um, Try to keep an open mind to, like, I mean, if this is what what we're dealing with, this is what we're dealing with. I'm not trying to
Right.
make a deal where I go. And it's definitely helped me even get to this point right here, to, like, really just keeping an open mind to anything. And sometimes getting out of your comfort zone, I guess, or doing some things that are just like you wouldn't normally do. I mean, the two gigs that changed my life were the two non-paying gigs. I was just like, I
Right.
just want to try it on a whim. And, here I am with a house in the Philippines on the beach. But it just kind of came, like, it was one of those intuitive things that I was like, kind of feeling this. And
Right.
it wasn't really like money involved. Like, it wasn't like a money move at all. It was just like,
But it was,
it's a change.
that's what I said. I feel like it never was for you. And I do have to cut in here and I got to shout out Crazy Legs in here, always supporting me.
Much
Um,
love, Crazy Legs, man.
Thanks, dude. I think he's in Puerto Rico right now. So, do your
Oh,
thing.
okay, good. Legend.
But yeah, so you were actually jumping the gun ahead with my questions because one of the first things I always ask my guests is what has been the biggest impact of this pandemic for you personally? Well, you just explained that, but then professionally, because you're a creative person, and I did see that you put out some work this year.
Mhm.
What was it? Welcome to Los Angeles,
That
but you're
was one
not
of them.
there. So that was
No.
kind of funny to me. So how has it been creatively for you?
It's just being in this different environment. It's been changing my moods a lot. You know what I mean? At first, during the beginning of the pandemic, I was kind of like losing it a little bit. You know what I mean? And I
You
tried
and
to,
everyone else.
yeah, exactly. We're all kind of like on that same boat. But I mean, the the different environments. Like, I'm in a tropical climate. The beach is here. Like, there's a jungle in my backyard. And just to get my mind right, I tried to just yeah, spend a lot of time on the dolo and
Yeah.
just um, get physical, whatever we can possibly do. I mean, we were still able to, like, exercise, I guess. So I would run every day, run and bike and just do things like that. And I was getting into different habits that were, like, mainly healthy, trying to eat healthy. I stopped
Right.
drinking, and it changed my sound quite a bit.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
that
I could.
process,
that's something that I'm curious about, because I can completely believe that if you change your lifestyle, it's going to change the way you put out.
Big time, yeah. Because I did this EP called Mali Now, and it's actually where I live, and it was inspired by this place, and I did it like literally within the first couple of weeks of the pandemic, and it was just kind of like I was going, you know, we were all going through that head change, going through those different type of life changes, and I mean that's just how it came out. It's, if you listen to it, it's the most serene kind of like.
It reflects your situation.
yeah, kind of perfect for the situation, and you know, other singles that I had put out during the pandemic, you know, fit other moods, you know, because we're going through so many different changes, so many different moods are happening, and it reflects into the music. Yeah. So I mean, listen to the single Aswang that I did, which is completely the opposite of the Mali Now that I played, that I made. And that one's a little bit more aggressive, and yeah, you know, you're just kind of playing with the moods, and it comes out that way.
Well, I think it's great to change your. Well, you've never, again, your bio said it all. You're not to be boxed in. You're not to be put in one type of genre. So, I think for you, you've always had that freedom to put out whatever sound you want, because that's what people know you to be as a producer or music maker. So that helps, because, you know, I spoke to some other artists, and one person actually was finishing up an EP. It was Chip Fu. And he said that even during the pandemic, he became a totally different person. So he had to go back and change his songs because the lyrics were not what he was at that time. Exactly.
Yeah. That's a big one too. Because I've been working on a record before this. I was working on music in LA before coming here, and that record has definitely taken a few turns since the pandemic started. Just sonically, and everything is just, all right, I can't put out the old record that I had it planned, and it's taken a new shape. Actually, yeah, some of the songs that I had made, a lot of the stuff that I had made here is making it on the record now, and that's on the way, actually, so stay tuned for that.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually sad that I can't travel, because, you know, in the past we've been talking about Bali, Philippines. You know, you were at one point considering maybe, you know, setting foot in Bali and setting up shop there. I can't go anywhere at this point, especially not over there, but I would love to come visit you out there, because I love the Philippines. And
yeah, we were we were supposed to link up in Bali once.
Exactly. That, it's just, you know, we can link up anywhere, because we can link up in LA too. It's just that the world doesn't allow us to at this point. Do you feel like do you feel the need to go back to LA at some point? Because I know that even though you're not allowed to go there, you have ties there, your family's there, so you can go.
Yeah, for sure. I need to see my peoples for sure. But to be honest, I went through so much change during this pandemic that it's to the point where I've been accustomed to this island life.
Right.
Beyond what I thought.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this simplicity, like getting out of the hustle. It's also, that's another thing that changes in the music when you're in a place like this is you're kind of off of the hustle mentality. You're kind of just doing things.
Slow down.
You slow down completely. Like my life out here is completely slow.
And you don't have to explain to me. Trust me. Yeah. I know the island life, Bali, Philippines. Listen, man, it's all the same over there. And it just makes you believe that nothing is as important or a life and death matter what you always think in the Western world. And I think the pandemic, to a certain extent, have given us all that slow down, because we all had to stop and chill, whether it's in the house or somewhere else where you're stuck in a lockdown. But the island life, pandemic or not, whenever I'm on an island and I have to go back home, it's like, oh no, I'm going back into the hustle and bustle of the modern, fast-paced world again. And you want to hold on to that peaceful, quiet, calm vibe, but
Yeah,
you get dragged into the everyday world again.
exactly. I mean, we become a product of our environment, and
Yes.
eventually, like the city just pulls you back into the hustle. And much respect to anybody who's hustling out there and doing, what they wanted, what they want to do. But it's man, I've decided to just slow down, especially at my age now. Like,
Come on now, you're still
I'm
young.
not in my 20s anymore.
We all are not in our 20s anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can't be. That was the thing. Like, eventually, I was gonna stop touring too.
Right.
And
No, man, you can't do that. We all want to see you.
yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna be around at least. I love traveling still, but
Yeah. And I know that whenever you travel, there's always an opportunity to do a gig because so many people everywhere. If they know you're coming, they will put you on, even if it's a free gig, like if you
yeah,
want to.
I've been very fortunate in that situation. But it's I've just met a lot of people on tour and actually built solid friendships, and it's an easy kind of what's up? I'm gonna be in town and
I can't remember what year we met.
Man, I don't know. I mean, this was during
This was when you were here with
posted
Red.
something the other day. Maybe it was like 2015 or something.
No, it's way longer ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that must have been like
Oh, that's
2010
right.
or something.
Ah, that's
Or
right. What am I talking about?
because I remember, okay, this is an anecdote that I will never forget, and I will always link you and Redmatic and Supernatt to it. The fact that everybody was calling me Soleil because everyone was calling Supernatt. Was it? I forgot who he got compared with, but I know that everybody was calling me Soleil. We were in the backstage of the Milky Way. I don't even know who was performing, but that's when I first met you. I just don't know what year that was. I'm so bad at years.
Wait,
That's
wasn't
a
that
long time ago.
with like wait, with you said Babs and Rhett were all there too?
Yeah.
Wait.
I have a picture somewhere of all of us,
Mm.
but it's on I think I had a BlackBerry. That's why I know it's like a long time ago.
Yeah, was that during like the Cypress Hill tour? And they
Could
like
be.
them in Cypress, and I think Dilated was on that tour as well. I
That, you
think
know
I don't.
what? That may have been that one. It
Yeah,
was just blurry night, so it could be.
many blurry nights in Amsterdam.
Blurry nights. All the nights in Amsterdam are blurry when you come visit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, love
So
it though.
I want to go back a little bit into, your creative journey. Having worked with a lot of people and having done projects with a lot of people, what do you feel were, because you were just mentioning earlier that the two life-changing gigs you had were free gigs. What were for you the turning points, or what was the turning point for you into actually making this a career or making this your life?
Um, I didn't have a turning point. I just kind of fell into it.
Oh, that's
You
even
talking
better.
about? Yeah, because it was like the early scene in LA, making beats and stuff. We were always kind of playing the background between rappers and stuff like that. So it wasn't something that I had envisioned would be a career or would last this
Right.
long, to be honest. It was, fortunately, we have such a dope community that's super supportive and kind of made a vibe based on not being accepted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and that's kind of the allure to what was happening in LA. I was like, oh, what's going on over there? The low-end theory and stuff like that. When we
Yeah.
were doing it at the Crosby back in the day. And,
Yeah.
I think just going in with the attitude of like not trying to be a people pleaser all the time and not trying to, follow past formats of how things work. You just it finds you somehow, really. I mean,
Yeah. What
I'm
were you
still
what were you planning on doing if you weren't making music a career? Did you have a trade, or were you? What were you doing?
I was just bullshitting, to be honest. I mean,
I
I was
believe
just
you.
a screw up, and I turned being a screw up into a career, I guess.
So you never had those parents, those Asian parents that were telling you you got to be a doctor or a lawyer or have a
Not really.
career?
My parents were
That's good.
really open-minded. Um, my parents were really open-minded to, you know, what I wanted to do and whatever
You
that meant.
figuring it out while you're bullshitting.
Yeah, I mean, we're all still kind of figuring it out right now.
Definitely, especially this year. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rules anymore. It's just like, but then again, there never really were rules
If you don't
when I
abide
started.
by them.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of make your own, I guess.
So actually talking about that, I think it's a really great thing that you say, I wasn't really conforming to the rules and pleasing people, especially not in the entertainment industry or music industry, which is obviously why you got the label that you do have of doing what you want and what you're good at. I've been talking to a lot of people about being an independent artist, whether it's a producer or a singer or rapper or whatever, versus being signed. What was for you your biggest mistake in this industry musically, business-wise, that turned out to be a big lesson for you?
Doing too much. I think in my early days, you remember the Crosby? I talked
Yes.
to you. Maybe, yeah. That was I don't know what I was. I was in the middle. I was in the middle of building my
You
career as
did do a
a
lot.
lot, and like I'm like 25 years old, and we decided to open a restaurant bar venue, and it kind of took a lot. I mean, from the
It
outside.
did well, though.
What's that?
It did great, though.
It did. It did. I mean, and we were able to build a really dope community, and I don't take it back whatsoever. I mean, we did that for like 8 years, um, the restaurant biz. But I can't say it was my mistake. It was, but it just took away from me creatively too.
Yeah.
I just thought I could do everything, and running a restaurant bar is not the easiest thing, especially in the States. Especially if you're trying to stay creative and tour. I don't know. I don't even know. I think I lost my 20s basically.
Well, I
Lost
lost
them,
it
I had
to
a great
different
time.
thing. I
Yeah,
lost it to
I did them
bullshit, not a
differently.
restaurant. So at least you had a good excuse.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, like creatively, I don't know. I mean, my experience with the label, I was with Alpha Pup for a while. That's been good. That was good.
Mhm.
But I've always just been about DIY, just do it
Right.
yourself styles. And, growing up in like underground hip hop scene and the punk rock scene in the 90s and stuff like that, you kind of learn other ways of thinking, like not
Yeah.
like popular music ways of thinking, and this is the format. So I feel like I did it right for myself. I didn't want to, you know. And granted, the internet popped off like
Yep.
right. I
Gave
was doing YouTube.
opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, MySpace. People forget about MySpace, but that was the
Oh, no, I
game
don't.
changer. Yeah,
I met so many
everyone.
people on MySpace. Hell, we may have met on MySpace before we
Probably.
met out here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised. I got
People see like
80% of my interviews out of MySpace, so I can't be mad at it. That's how I met most
really.
of the rappers that I know now. So,
That's
yeah.
amazing. See, we use that technology to our
Yes,
advantage, and look at what happens. And
exactly.
we
Some
took
people use it for dating. I used it for networking.
exactly. You can do it for both. I mean, but it really is a solid networking tool, and
Yeah.
you know,
So are you
people.
using it now? Are you using the internet now, being staying put in one place, to do collaborations or projects with other artists or producers, or do people hit you up to ask about that?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, once again, I've kind of pulled myself out of doing too much, so I kind of just choose like things that I want to do. So if it is, it's just to stay in contact with friends, really. And collaborations do happen. Sometimes I get hit up for it, but it's people that I've worked with or homies.
Right.
Right now I'm working on a song with Teebs, it's gonna be on the album. And it's just a tool to stay in contact with friends now. I'm not really posting as much. I mean, maybe like
I've seen you really taken to the island life, so that includes, social distancing from social media.
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
It reflects. Are there any people that you would want to work with still? I know you said, I'm not really thinking about that right now, but have there been people on your bucket list that you're like, maybe in the future I would want to do a project with that person?
My brain explodes with this type of question because I'm sure there's so many.
That's why I'm a journalist.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to work with who I've worked with in the past.
Yeah.
I really can't think of anyone right now.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm not, if there's nobody, then that's only better. Then you don't have to focus on wanting to do that.
It's 4 a.m.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, by the way. For people that are tuning in, it is 4:30 over there, which is why I decided to move my live an hour later than usual, because I didn't want to do him at, I didn't want to do him wrong by getting him up at 3 a.m. So he was kind enough to do 4 a.m.
Yeah. So my brain.
This is when you're global.
Coming back together. But
I know.
Honestly,
so do you have a setup in the house there, like your equipment and stuff?
I wish. I'm working like I'm on my bed right now. I don't even have a desk. I got headphones. I got this like janky keyboard in my computer.
Did you have a whole set at home, a studio setup or whatever in LA?
Yeah, back in LA I do.
So what happened? You can ship that out there?
I could. I want to keep that stuff in LA and just kind of build something, because this is my second home now. So
right, so you can go back and then have your equipment there.
Yeah, I was thinking about building another proper studio that's like not at my house.
Right.
Yeah, because there's tons of little places that I can just build.
And it's cheap out there, I would imagine.
Yeah.
To get the land, build the house.
It's reasonable. Yeah.
Reasonable. Sure. Do you have a guest room there in case I can fly to the Philippines again?
Of course. You should
Awesome.
definitely come back. Yeah, no, we have.
Now, if you don't have a pool, I'm not coming.
And we got a pool. It's called the Ocean. It's like 30 seconds away.
Oh, the ocean.
Yeah, see, this is I'm in Siargao Island. So Siargao Island is like the surf capital of the Philippines.
I'm down. I want to surf.
Yeah, they'll definitely take you. That's another thing, which is super weird for people to understand. I really got into surfing.
You're from LA. You should be into surfing. Come on now.
Yeah. It was like I really took it seriously maybe a year before I came here. But like since the pandemic, we were kind of banned from surf for a while.
Yeah.
And then when it opened up, like literally, I'm out there 4 hours every morning, 5 in the morning. Yeah.
Oh my God, I want to do that because my dad used to surf, and so I used to go with him when I was younger. And Bali is definitely surf paradise for the Australians and stuff. So I'm not good at all, but I would love to go and break my butt over some waves.
We'll take you to some spots that you will be good. Like there's spots that
awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm really upset that this world doesn't let me travel the way I used to. Because I would have been on the plane. Because normally I travel when it's December and January. I travel when it's wintertime here. I go to the islands. So either Florida or the islands. So now I'm like, damn it, I want to come out there and hang out. I mean, I can bring my laptop. I can work from anywhere if I have to. So
exactly, you're a digital nomad life.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I live very simple out here.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it would be great. it would be great if you were able to come back and you know, visit Europe again as well. But we can meet up anywhere if the world opens up. When the world opens up.
When the world opens up.
So, okay, going back to creativity, I know you gathered a lot of fans over the world. Who were some of your inspirations for your music, for your productions? Did you have any? Who did you listen to when you were growing up?
I was just a music head, digging like crazy. I mean, as far as people that inspired me, it took that pretty much created a pathway for me. It would be like DJ Shadow would be my main guy.
Oh yeah, I love him. He's great.
I used to listen to a lot of that dark, like, you know, Portishead and you know, obviously like hip hop, like all hip hop from Dilla to the RZA, Pete Rock.
Right.
And yeah, they you know, that was the pathway. It was total hip hop head, but you know, I'm actually from a place called Santa Ana, and it's where a lot of different scenes are. There's like the gang culture, there's the hip hop culture, and then there's like punk scene and reggae. Like, you know, it was the hood, you know, and everybody kind of. I used to go to this house, this like community house called Coos Cafe, and it got me into all the genres because it was like the only hangout to be, because there was nothing. It was the suburbs,
right.
You know, and yeah, that was my school. I learned more. I learned more in record stores and punk houses and hip hop events than I did in school.
Of course, most people do, because that's
Right?
where your interest lays.
Exactly. You get history, you get everything.
But what I find fascinating is, as much as you were, you know, into hip hop culture and hip hop music, you know, combined with the other genres that were in your area or in the hood or in that house, I don't necessarily hear one genre in your music. Like, I was never able to pinpoint your sound. Do you feel like you have a sound, a signature Free the Robot sound, or are you purposely not having a sound?
I don't have I do have a sound, but it's more of a texture. It's more of like I don't have this like melodical. My signature would be more with the texture. I'm drawn to grit. I'm drawn to like the dirty side of music. You know, stuff that's not clean.
Yeah.
Super lo-fi. You know, 1960s jazz drums. I always have these weird. I don't know. I'm just attracted to music that was recorded in the 60s, and it reflects into my music, whether it's recorded,
right,
you know, deep bass electronic music. I still try to put that extra texture into that. But yeah, that would be my signature. If you pay attention, you'll kind of, there's like that.
I think people that listen to your music will agree with that, because again, we tend to listen to the familiar sounds and the sound bites that are usually signature sounds. But if you talk about texture or even structure, I know some artists have a signature in their structure. I think that definitely makes sense. Well, I'm not a producer, but I've been around enough producers that my dad used to produce, so I know how it all works. I can definitely see how you can have a signature in all aspects of the creation of music.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. My process never really changed as much, and I kind of used a lot of the same sounds, but you know, add depending on what the project is, really. And
right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like recent recent records. Oh yeah, Datu was one of them, which is what's I actually made on this island. That would be like that would be the signature texture right there throughout. That was the
I'm gonna revisit that one.
Yeah, it's a funny story because I was I'm gonna be straight up. So I was on psychedelics, and I just had this like crazy out there experience that pretty much brought me here and like attracted me to try to understand my roots and everything. And
Right.
yeah, like the second time that I came to this island, I recorded that record with exactly what I have now, nothing, like my iPhone for like recording sounds and stuff like that, and then Philippine samples. So I just got a bunch of Philippine samples and created this like tribute to indigenous Philippine music, Maharlika music.
I remember you said that about the project. I remember reading that too, because I think it's very important for everyone to understand where they come from, especially, you know, what's going on in the world today. I think it's important to know where your roots are in order to understand your history, but also to be more empathetic towards other people's history, because that's what the world definitely needs. You know, I told you also that, you know, I did a DNA test, those ancestry things a couple of years ago, and it keeps updating my results because Asian people are not as much into giving their DNA and having that sorted out. So there's a lot of unknown factors on the Asian DNA side. So I'm very specific, detailed. I have a detailed report about my European side. And then my Asian side keeps updating. So every 2 years, they send me a new report. They started with 5,000 samples, and I was mainly East Asian and Pacific Islander. Yeah. And then it came back with, I was suddenly Vietnamese. I was like, okay, I didn't know that. Mom, dad, what's going on? And then now the most recent one is me being at least 50% Filipino, which makes more sense because my grandfather was from Manado, which is pretty close, is northern Indonesia, which is close to the Philippines. So with the migration history, because I know my migrations, that could actually be more true. But I also know that the Filipino community is more inclined to do DNA tests because there are Filipinos everywhere around the world. So we'll see. We'll see how my DNA develops over the years.
I mean, when it really comes down to it, if you're Indonesian and I'm Filipino, we're all, before these were countries, it was just land. That was
right. It was one big land.
Asia and Borneo and the Philippines, and I mean, we're all just a mixture of all of that. And
exactly.
That's the thing. That's part of the quest to understand roots and kind of empowers you a bit, because a lot of that stuff was just kind of, especially as a Filipino, a lot of our history is just blocked off, you know?
Yeah.
The pre-history, everything just started with Spain's colonization, but then, you know, we have a lot more in common with Indonesians. I mean, if we're in the south, like, well, I'm in Mindanao right now, so we're in the southern part of the Philippines. And the more south you go, the more it's like very, the culture is very close to Indonesian. And then in the north, it's
even the
totally
language. Because I understood a lot when I was in Manila, when I was in Coron. I understood a lot of the language. A lot of the words are the same as Indonesian. So, you know, we probably were all related at one point.
At one point, aren't we all?
But one fact is, we were all colonized by the Europeans.
And just kind of sent in different places, and our histories just kind of disappeared.
Right. Which I think it's great that you were able to basically put all of your research and your connection to your roots into an album or a project, or, you know, sounds using samples from your country, from your homeland. I think that's amazing. Yeah,
it was a fun project.
And, do you feel like you would do more of those type of projects?
I'd love to include more of that. I'm still continuing to do that right now, actually. I'm always kind of playing around, and you know, there's a lot of changes happening right now up here, and I've been doing that. I've been also working on a lot of dance music lately.
Oh, cool.
I wouldn't call it house, but you know, of those tempos. I don't know. There's no real reason why. I just just wanted to make it, you know,
Yeah.
using simple, you know, indigenous tribal sounds and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm curious. Are there any new artists that you listen to right now, or are you really limited in your little peaceful space on the island? Like, I don't want to bother with these new generation artists.
I listen to tons of music. For the most part, I listen to more like spiritual jazz and piano music. Just on
Wow.
that.
Okay. See, that's more
because,
island feel.
yeah, more island feels. But you know, roots wise, I mean, hip hop. You know, I've been like super on like Griselda, like that hardcore
yeah,
rap.
of course,
Right
Griselda
now,
keeps coming up.
New York rap. Yeah, and you know, it's different rock stuff that's just like out there. I don't know, like.
Rest in peace, Van Halen.
Rest in peace, Van Halen. Yesterday. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's wow. I don't know. My playlist on Spotify just kind of go in a lot of directions. Actually, I put two pandemic related playlists on my Spotify. It's all mainly spiritual jazz.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my vibe. I'm trying to like not be too intense right now. Just
No, I understand.
A lot of oldies too. I love lowrider
Sorry?
oldies. Lowrider oldies all day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest do a meditation album, because everyone nowadays around the world is meditating, finding their peace in the pandemic, and you're trying to de-stress. So maybe you could do like a meditation album with peaceful sounds.
That I consider that. Actually, I was working. Well, Mali Now EP is kind of like that. At least a couple of the tracks, and that's kind of. I'm kind of starting multiple projects all at once, and that was one of the directions. It's more serene, less drums, you know, a lot more textures and ambiance. And,
right.
You know, it fits in like, you know, like a meditative vibe, you know.
Well, we all need that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to continue with that a bit. So
yeah, I think that would be a good one. That would be definitely applicable to the situation in the world today. I think it's really interesting that as much as you love hip hop, I don't think I've ever heard, and maybe that's me because I can't say if I listen to all of your music, but I don't think I've ever heard an actual really to the core grimy hip hop beat from you or production.
Those would be like the collaboration with Opio would be the closest.
Well, okay, yeah. Okay, but aside from your collaborative projects.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Once again, like, I don't necessarily make a lot of the music that I listen to. It just comes out, right? You know, and I don't have control over it almost. It's not I don't know. Yeah, that's funny that you pointed that out. Here's a good question. Yeah.
Here's a good question from the Mood Dog, Luck. I actually interviewed him earlier. He asked, what's the first hip hop song you heard?
First hip hop song that I heard?
Yeah, have you ever heard? Can you remember which one that was?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was probably, it was Life is Too Short. Too Short.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, definitely. I remember the tape. My cousin had the tape.
And we talking tapes, yeah.
Life is Too Short. And then, you know, like, that era, like, NWA, Straight Outta Compton was a good, like, a big record.
You West Coast. You're West Coast.
West Coast. Yeah, so, yeah, Bay Area, LA.
Right.
And then, all that. And then I remember that, getting those tapes. And I think I got a hold of a 2 Live Crew tape. And it was just like that, like, it was so crazy as a kid to listen to because they were just like talking all that mess. But, you know, as a kid, it was so fun. Like,
we all did that. If you're from our generation, that's what we all did.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's normal. If you listen to songs on the radio right now, it's normal.
Oh yeah, Two Live Crew's tame now. Yeah, man.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you. Well, first of all, I'm gonna round this up a little bit because we're getting towards the end of this.
Right.
First of all, I want to thank you for getting up at this hour. I know you were already up, so I'm just gonna pretend that you got up for me. Thank you.
I'm up early.
It was really great seeing you and catching up with you. I was just shocked by the hair and by the pandemic look, but it suits you.
Yeah.
You look like you grew up, because you were always so so cute. And now you're like, oh my gosh, this is like the man that's sitting here. He's in his own house, in his own building.
Different man.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Oh no.
But it's been a while since I've seen you, so.
Yeah, you know what? I think the last time you posted. Did you post a photo? I think it was like we were all out and I think you're bar hopping with like Rich Medina was playing and Opio was there. I think we were the Beat Nuts and J-Roo.
This is true. This was it. I know. I remember where it was. That was at the Devil. That was at the cafe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. I don't know what year that was. But I do know that we met way before 2015 because the interview I did with you at the rooftop was in 2014.
Okay. And I had known
from
probably 2010.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know what year that show was that we were backstage with Rhett and Supernatt. So I'll have to go back into archives. My memory is getting old. But yeah, but it was great talking to you. Is there anything like wise words or advice that you have for the people in all of this mess in the world?
I mean, slow down for sure. Slow down and don't feel bad about slowing down, because sometimes you just doing less work is more work.
Yeah.
The difference between myself and the city, I just felt like I had to constantly keep working, and sometimes it would destroy my true creative process. But coming here to the island and slowing down, catching vibes, it's making everything better in terms of my process. And yeah, slowing down for sure. And
I agree.
Staying in contact with people, you be losing my shit. It's people are my friends, everybody back home, it's like that lack of human connection is really getting to people, and
yeah,
terrible situation.
I can understand that.
People's at all times, and yeah, there's so much. It's just such a crazy time, but definitely try to stay healthy too. Stay healthy.
Yes.
Be out. Yeah, I mean, because you could easily just lose yourself on the couch, eat some chips all day, get out and work out, get your serotonin going, and
I'll tell you this though, island life is a lot healthier because of the fruits that grow there and the outside life that you can just be out and run and walk and explore. That is something that I miss being in a city, because when we are on a lockdown, we can't really go outside and do stuff. When you're on an island, there's nobody there, so you don't have to really worry about, social distancing if you're not really in the city. So I definitely miss that.
Different situation. Yeah. The fruits.
Yeah.
Mangosteen all day. You've had mangosteen before?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to cut this off. I'm getting jealous because I miss the free fruits. You know how much a mango costs over here? Like $3. And it ain't even good.
Wow.
So,
$3.
And we're going into winter time, so we really don't have the good mangoes.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm upset. So being healthy over here costs a lot of money.
That's true.
In comparison to being on the island. And my aunt in Florida had mango trees, so we had mangoes for days for free just to pick them up. from the ground. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, stay healthy, slow down. We definitely take your advice. Again, I'm glad that we caught up. I'm glad you're feeling better, that you are coming to yourself and that you are at peace and you're accustomed to, you know, being over there, and that you're still being creative and coming out with your sounds as we know as Free the Robots. Do you feel like the robots are free now?
Actually, yeah, for the first time in my life, yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, do you have a projected date for when you're releasing the next project?
I mean, it'll probably be within the next 3 to 4 months, maybe January. I'm not sure. But then again,
Cool.
but I mean, it's been January for the past 7 months, so or, I don't know how long it's been. It's been January since January, so.
Well, then we'll just stick to January for now.
Yeah, we'll stick to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in touch. And thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right.
Tuning in.
We'll talk soon.
We'll talk
soon.
Bye-bye. We'll talk about getting you to the island soon.
I know.
We'll talk about getting you here.
Yes. Definitely. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That was great catching up with Free the Robots. I'm glad he's still staying creative and putting things out. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. Have a great day or a great night or a great morning, wherever you are. I'll be back on Monday with the amazing Torre. And so stay tuned. As mentioned, I have a couple of great guests coming up the rest of this month. So I'll see you guys later.